You're listening to the Trahern Crews show on 94.1 FM, Frogtown Community Radio. Welcome to another edition of the Trahern Crews show on 94.1 FM, Frogtown Tuned In Radio. We have an exclusive interview tonight with the father of Alyjah Thomas. Mr. Thomas, it's great to have you on the show tonight to talk about the incident that happened with your son in the high-speed chase a couple months back. Could you tell us a little bit about Alyjah?
Well, he's just a real loving son, cousin. He loves sports, basketball, listen to music, things that, any regular, teenager was into or liked. Just a good kid, not, this thug or criminal that they tried to paint him out to be.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about the high-speed chase. How did this all happen?
Well, according to my knowledge, they were, left the school. We're supposed to go to a football game, and a couple of the kids, including my son, needed to be dropped off. And somewhere between them leaving the school, they were followed by multiple cars, and chased down, crashed. Two of the kids, ended up, dead.
Wow.
So,
what school was this at?
North High School.
North High. Okay. And why was
North High School?
So the car was at North High School, and that's in.
Yeah, North St. Paul.
North St. Paul. Okay. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, go. Well, I was gonna say, but prior to this, the car was stolen in Lakeville and was actually spotted 4 times by the cops and was never pursued. So, to my understanding, it was one individual in that car, but for some reason, after those 4 times, they chose to, chase this car down after they seen 6 kids get into it.
So where was the car at? It was at where the kids.
North St. Paul High School.
And then that's where the kids got into the car at.
Yes, but it was, to my understanding, multiple kids had the keys to that car, which is kind of leading me to believe that was a bait car.
A bait. Okay, for people who don't understand what a bait car is, what's a bait car?
Where basically the police set it up and will just leave a vehicle somewhere waiting for teenagers to enter it.
Okay, but they already, and like you were saying previously, they already knew the car was stolen, spotted the car, could have towed it, had 4 opportunities to tow the car and get it back to its owner or something like that.
Yeah, and they never did. And that was kind of weird to me that somehow a teenager was able to steal that car all the way from Lakeville, which is 40 minutes away, and bring it into the city unnoticed.
Wow.
That didn't really add up to me.
And then did the school know that the car was there, or that
what they had
keys to the car, or how does that work?
I mean, what they had to know was there, because from what I heard, the police were trying to apprehend the car on Wednesday, but couldn't find the keys. So they just let a stolen car sit on their school grounds and said nothing.
Wow.
But the cops knew the car was there,
but never did.
And the cops never did nothing. They knew other children that had those keys, but they just couldn't find them.
Wow. Did you ever speak with the mayor of the town that this happened in?
Yes, Maplewood, yes.
And what did they say that they were going to do about it?
They basically just gave their condolences and told us they had to go through Ramsey County. We tried to get video evidence, audio. Everything was through Ramsey County.
So you guys
But before that, they told us they.
Go ahead. I apologize.
No, yeah, we reached out to him. I'm sorry, we reached out to him.
Before that, they said what though?
We had to go through Ramsey County. Their hands were tied. They couldn't really do anything because Ramsey County was the ones involved. Even though they got called to be in the chase, they said they wouldn't be in the chase, but somehow they made it there before everybody to throw the strips out. But first they said they didn't do that, and then they admitted they did.
Wow. So Ramsey County Sheriff's Department was the one chasing the children in the car. Your son, in the car that your son was in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was Ramsey County and North St. Paul, and then Maplewood got involved.
So what did Maplewood do?
Well, they basically told us they showed up to the scene just to throw the strips out. They showed up in like 2 cars.
And so they threw out strips like 4 times, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
But first they lied and say they didn't do it.
Then, so you reached out to the Sheriff's Department, Ramsey County. You've requested the video. What has happened?
Nothing.
And have you
Nothing.
been able to
they basically waited. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, they basically waited 2 weeks and then they just aired it on the news. They didn't call me or call any other parents. They just put it on the news.
Oh, and then they only showed what, like a piece of dash cam video.
Yeah, which seemed edited. It was.
Has there been any like hello? So we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back.
I'm back.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm back.
So Ramsey County never met with you, hasn't given you any video footage,
Phone call.
No phone call, nothing after they basically killed your son after chasing him in a high-speed chase.
Yes. No calls, nothing.
What do you were there bullet holes in the back of the car?
From what I seen, yes. And the kids said they were shooting at the car.
So the kids say that the Ramsey County sheriffs or the police were chasing them and then shooting at the car.
Yes.
And then they wonder why the kids did not want to stop.
Want to stop? Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't stop. I wouldn't want to stop if somebody was shooting at me either. And, these are just to kind of bring the humanity back to it. How old were all the kids in the car?
Well, most of them were 15, 16. The youngest was Marcoz. He was 14.
Man, yeah, this is hard. This is super hard to deal with. So we don't have those pictures with us now, but Marco's mother was showing us some pictures of the back of the car, and it definitely looked like there was some bullet holes in the back of the car. When the kids were taken out of the car, were weapons drawn on them?
Yes, we were told no, but yeah, weapons were drawn. All the children say weapons were drawn, and they threatened to actually kill the driver.
Why do you think that they keep saying so? Like, first they said there were no strips thrown out, but then you find out there were. Then they say they didn't draw guns. Then you find out there were. Why do you think they keep changing the scenario?
Well, because they want to cover up what they did. how they handled some children. That's exactly why.
What? And when you say, go ahead.
No.
When you say how they handled the children, what? Can you expand on that?
Well, for one, they called off the ambulance. They took a young man out, and his collarbone was broken. He was coughing up blood. After they handcuffed him and drew the guns out on him, then that's when they called the ambulance. And actually, someone came from down the street to Marcoz screaming. This was a registered nurse. I believe it was a man, and tried to save my son first, but his pulse was very low, and he was dying, and he wasn't gonna, make it. And then they tried to save Marcoz.
So it's hard for I wish that more people we're going to do more to bring awareness to this, because I feel like that there should be there definitely needs to be justice in this situation. What would you like to see happen with this situation?
Well, one side note for Bob Fletcher to be fired, because he has actually been reprimanded for proceeding to chase when being told not to. So this Bob Fletcher guy that is under investigation for fraud, he knew all these kids in the car, and he actually openly spoke about this case to kids at North High School. He knows all those kids.
So he knows,
and he probably gave the okay for them, every last one of them. And I'm sure he gave the okay for this chase to be pursued.
And so Bob Fletcher knew all these kids in the car and is given the okay for these kids to be pursued. I know he knows Marcos's mother too. She said she had spoken with him previously before this.
Yeah. They knew it was kids in that car. Yeah. Bob Fletcher knew all of them.
So Bob Fletcher knew all these kids in the car, allowed them to be pursued, and you would like to see him fired.
Yeah, out of there.
Definitely. What about the officers who pursued the?
Well, it's to my understanding, one of the officers failed the drug test, the drug and alcohol test. He's lawyered up. The other officers, I really couldn't tell you, but
wow,
definitely something went wrong. And yeah, internal affairs is investigating too. I don't know if people know that. So,
is there another outside entity investigating this, or is it just internal affairs?
Like, just internal affairs.
Okay, so yeah, I think definitely there should be a different group of people investigating this, like usually with like situations with like Dante Wright and other people. Scott County comes in and investigates. The BCA comes in and investigates, but that's not happening in this situation. Wow. Since in Minneapolis there was a high-speed chase by the police, and I think Lanier Frazier was killed. And then the officer in that situation has just been charged. Would you like to see something similar in this case?
Well, I would like to see the same thing.
Absolutely.
Since they were the adults in the situation, and they basically went overkill. There was no reason for them to have 4 or 5 cars just to hunt down some kids that was joyriding, whatever they was doing.
Right.
They wasn't injuring no one. They wasn't. It was just overkill.
Man, it was an honor to be out there stomping with you today, out in the streets demanding justice for your son and Marcoz, if anybody who's watching right now wants to donate or help, or who's listening to us, how can they donate to help you right now?
Just on my Cash App, Fondren 2130, or we have a link also through my Facebook. They can go donate on GoFundMe.
Okay,
We appreciate it.
What's the Facebook page?
Eric Thomas.
Eric Thomas. And then if you could say that, say the Cash App one more time too.
Fondren 2130. FONDREN 2130.
Awesome. Thank you for having the courage for coming on and talking about the tragedy and what is basically like murder to me of your child. And please come back and keep us updated. We're going to keep going out there and demanding justice and standing up with you till there's some true justice served in this situation. Also, if there's other media outlets that would like to talk to you, do you have an email address or something that you feel comfortable with giving out for people to contact?
It's eric.thomas16@yahoo.com.
Thank you for coming on and speaking with us. We're gonna have you back after we have the next rally so we can get some updates on what's happening.
Okay.
I appreciate you. God bless you.
Thank you, brother.
And, condolences to the whole family, and we're gonna keep the pressure and let them know we're gonna keep the pressure up on them. And that was Mr. Eric Thomas. He's the son of Alyjah, who was murdered during a police case or killed in a high-speed case with law enforcement here in Minnesota. We had a rally earlier today. Community members went and marched down to the Maplewood Police Department. If you can, please go to his Cash App, go to his Facebook page, make a donation. He's really going through it right now. They just killed his son in a high-speed chase, and he's a Black father out here demanding justice. So we really got to stand up and support these fathers when they get the courage to come out here and demand justice and stand up against institutional racism here in the state of Minnesota. You're listening to the Trahern Crews Show on 94.1 FM, Frogtown Tuned In Radio.